waiting for you. Get a seat. How are you doing? Hey. Well, I get by. And how is it going your first year as a teacher? Are you happy? Well, worse than expected. My pupils find my subject boring, and I cannot avoid to feel miserable. But hey, don't tumble down. Nobody is born a teacher. We're constantly learning and evolving. Come on, we'll find a solution together. But how? How? I've tried everything. Books, PowerPoint, books, PowerPoint. And why don't you include technology? It's very innovative, and I'm sure it's going to be much more amusing. What are you teaching right now? Well, currently I'm teaching 6th grade and social sciences. Okay, I have an idea, but we are going to base ourselves in the ACAT framework for creating this activity. ACAT? Yes, ACAT. ACAT. You know what? I'm going to explain it to you clearly. There you go. Are you like Mary Poppins or something? Who knows? Maybe. But now on to important things. What's ACAT?
The Activity Center Analysis and Design Framework has 3 key dimensions we have to design through and by which we're going to explain our activity. Firstly, we have epistemic design, which is the task I'm going to propose to do. In our case, the activity proposed consists of creating a digital library made out of digital books, including information from different countries of the European Union. Next, we have set design, which refers to where learning is physically situated and the artifacts and tools that compose the physical and visual learning environment. In this case, the activity will take place in the classroom and computers or laptops will be required. Regarding tools, we will use Google Earth in order to search information of geographical aspects, Google Arts and Culture in order to look up for curiosities and cultural facts, Book Creator to design and produce the digital book, and Padlet as a tool by which all digital books will be uploaded so a digital library can be formed. And finally, we have social design, which looks at interaction between students and how they're going to work, alone, groups, didacts. In this case, students can group themselves in groups that range from 3 to 5. The final structural dimension of the framework is characterized as the emergent activity, which happens at the time of learning when tools, tasks, and people come together in support of learning. The learning outcomes are tied to the activity that emerges.
And now, on to the sequence we're going to follow.
Firstly, group members will choose a country from the European Union to learn about. Once they have selected it, they will use both Google Earth and Google Arts and Culture in order to collect information of the different aspects required from the selected nation. Google Earth is more adequate for geographical facts and images, since it includes galleries and 2D and 3D view of streets and monuments. On the other hand, Google Arts and Culture is better for social and cultural data, like astronomy or customs. Once they have collected enough information, they will elaborate a digital book with Book Creator. This tool enables the creation and free editing of digital booklets in which the students will plasm the information in a creative and free way, since they can choose both size, color, the fonts, etc. However, they must follow the next structure. First, they must do a cover, a page related to general information from the country selected. They have to explain information about a specific city of that country. They have to talk about also gastronomy, a specific monument of that country, a famous person, and curiosities. Once books are elaborated, all groups will upload them into a Padlet called our European Library, which is going to encompass every group's work and also enables consulting them in the page. Also, all groups must present and do an exposition of their work to the classmates, introducing them into their country and what they found most interesting.
Wow, I'm impressed. It is a really cool activity. But what about the curriculum? We have to adapt ourselves to it. Don't worry about it, we got that too. If we take a look at the 209/2022 decree, this learning project enables students to develop the following goals, which are these. Take a look. Wow, you really got everything under control. But don't you think that there could be any sort of, ethical issues when performing this activity in the classroom? Usually, most activities bring out some ethical problems. However, we can solve them. For example, in this activity, we have a mandatory use of digital devices, which may be difficult for some students due to a lack of this type of resources. However, we can solve this because we can make use of the public digital resources that the school center offers, like for example, the computers from the ICT room. Another issue we could talk about is the fact that this is a teamwork project, which may lead to misconceptions, miscommunications, misunderstandings, and even conflicts or tensions due to a bad organization or just people that doesn't accomplish their role. That is why teachers we should put in disposal certain guidelines to create a healthy work environment in order to make us have the same goals and accomplishments as a team, and also to resolve conflicts effectively. Regarding book creator, we have to take into account digital booklets don't download in a PDF format, but an ebook format, which means we cannot download it and share it or access to them as freely as the other formats. There are very easy solutions for this problem though. Firstly, students could install ebook reader apps, which don't nearly occupy any space, and of course they're free. Or second, trust ebook to PDF converters, which makes the task of uploading the digital book much easier. Does any of the tools you offer have an additional value? The tools, we can say that both Google Earth and Google Ads and Culture offer an utter immersion and interaction with the world. In a way, we can explore it, analyze it, and visualize it digitally, make it an excellent tool in order to both teach and learn subjects like social sciences. Also, they have a great accessibility, which is essential to meet the needs of a diverse group of students. Book Creator works as a Canva in which students can create their books in an enriching and quite a creative way, since there are several types of formats available. Also, it is a collaborative tool. That means that several users can be modifying and creating the book at the same time. But so does the teacher, since this tool enables also an immediate feedback. We can talk about Padlet's additional value. We can say that this tool is extremely versatile, since it can meet a lot of necessities and has a broad spectrum of uses and objectives. In our case, Padlet works as a cohesive agent in which all projects are going to be melted into one single library that enables consulting and presenting. Nice idea. And how you're going to evaluate this task? We're going to evaluate this activity by using a rubric that compiles specific competencies from the English and social sciences subject that suits the most this learning project. Of course, we get them from the 2009/2022 decree. Take a look. And how is this activity going to improve our students' PLE? Let's remember what a PLE is. PLE stands for Personal Learning Environment, and it is the specific collection an individual learner creates and manages in order to facilitate learning and its process. It is formed by three areas. Firstly, decoding and accessing information. Secondly, modification and reflection of information. And thirdly and last, the sharing and recreation of information. With the tools offered in this activity, we can improve all the three areas of the PLE. Firstly, with Google Arts and Culture and Google Earth, we can access to certain information and gain knowledge and insights about a certain topic. With Book Creator, we can modify the information we have access in order to meet a learning need, and of course reflect about it. And finally, with Padlet, we can improve that area of sharing and recreating information, since we're going to partake the information we have accessed, modified and reflected about with our PLN or personal learning network, which in this case are going to be your classmates, in order to improve our collective learning and intellectual growth. Taking into account the previous explanation and diagram of PLE, I will consider including ChatGPT in the accessing and decoding meta information area, since it has given me the opportunity to both access and decode any sort of information imaginable by writing prompts. It has been an essential discovery this term. In the modification and reflection of meta information, I have included Wix, another essential discovery that will stay in my PLE for a very long time. With this tool, I have been able to sequence my learnings by redacting blocks. In this area, I have also included Google Forms, a very recurrent tool that we have used to collect data, insights, and marks from both ourselves and our peers. It has also been included in sharing and recreating information, along with, for example, Instagram, that apart from being my social media of choice to keep up with the latest news, I have also given it an educational focus in order to share and partake my insights and accomplishments inside of the learning field. Finally, with Pechacucha, I have learned about a dynamic learning process that enables the acquisition of knowledge in a very fast-paced way. Also, it challenged myself, potentiating my capabilities by, for example, its restrictions of time. Firstly, I will choose the assessment competence, because with this area we can develop the formats and focuses by which we are going to apply assessment. Also, we develop digital statistics by which we're going to measure students' performance, and we learn on how to give feedback. In this course, I found particularly useful how we apply this competence throughout the course with the roles of the analyst or the occasional feedback we have to give to our peers in some of our projects. Another competence will be empowering students, by which we have guaranteed accessibility with our resources. Also, we have met specific learning needs. And third, we have seen how digital tools empowers the student creative engagement by, for example, self-expression. In this course, what I have learned related to this competence is that we have to innovate into methodologies and formats, and it has been very clear since along the course we have tried all sorts of formats and varieties of activities, from Pechacucha, questions and answer board games, and also diagrams. Lastly, I will talk about facilitating students' digital competence, which includes the researching process and interpretation of information, taking into account the reliability of the sources chosen, also the effective and respectful way of using digital tools when communicating and collaborating, and finally, the facilitation of creating digital content by also taking into account copyright and royalties. What I feel I have learned during this course related to this competence is, firstly, how to elaborate different types of digital content in different formats like podcasts or videos, and also how to cite and reference sources which are not mine, and finally, how to use public domain material like in this case. Putting myself a mark is an extremely difficult job, since although I've gone through bad days and times, I've always accomplished my work effectively along with my classmates, and also tried to give the best version of myself. For that, I wouldn't put myself at 10, but an 8.5, since it is a solid mark in which my efforts are reflective. It also gives me enough space to become a better version of myself as a person and as a future teacher. The most important role for me is the analyst. The analyst is the reflect of the team's metacognition, and for being one, first, you have to reflect a lot about the content you have learned. Second, have a lot of focus on what the other members have contributed into the task. And third, attention and consciousness, since many aspects have to be taken into account for a qualitative and quantitative evaluation of both our peers and ourselves. The most challenging role would be the star. A star has to have extra interest in that week because they have to meet the very specific requirements of the task, and also be very conscious of what they're talking about, since they're going to present the final product and receive and share the feedback they're given. Also, for me, I find it challenging because it is a nerve-wracking role in which you have to present and show things in public. But it is a role that pays off, since in the future, as teachers, we're going to be constantly a star.